remember there's a couple different ways to do everything. Like if I said 3 plus 2 equals 5. Well, that's true, but also 4 plus 1 equals 5. Again, lots of different ways to do this. So you can use my other video, you could use the PLTW 1.3 video, or you can use this. So if I've got my folder and I'm just trying to, I know it's got to be 11 across. Well, if I know it's got to be 11 across and I'm measuring my folder, it's not 11 up and down, so I know it's got to be across the side. However, I want to use as many of the construction or corners that I know have to be straight. So I know that this line is straight. I know this line is straight. Well, probably the one on the bottom, but I've got these creases, so I'm going to flip mine over. But I know I need to have some straight lines. Well, the crease might cause some problems on the side when it's flying because it might not be a completely straight line when I go and cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure something like maybe an inch up above and create a line so that I know that that'll be a straight line as well. So I'm going to go ahead and mark an inch just because an inch is to me a little bit easier. So I'm just flipping my folder around. So right now I'm just working on this bottom part. So I'm going to go ahead and measure an inch. So I'm going to have a straight line is what it ends up being. And so then I'm going to go ahead and make sure that these are all straight. So I know I've got, and I can double check my measurements to make sure I've got an inch, which it looks like I do. So I know this is a straight line and then this is a straight line. So if I'm doing that, I know up and down it's got to be 4 inches. So what I'm going to do is measure 4 inches from what I now know is my straight line. So I'm going to put a dot, measure a little over, put a dot, so I can create my 2 straight lines. And the nice thing is I can measure in the inside and see if I actually have it correct. It's pretty close, so I can double check to see if I did it correctly. And if I didn't, then I can just go ahead and redo it. So right now I've got my body is 11 and my side up and down is 4. However, it looks like I'm going to have a 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch on this side. So what I'm going to do is measure in a 1/2 inch and put those dots like what I did before. So 1/2 inch. And I'm making sure that I know that this line is straight, so I've got something even to measure off of. So I've got my 1/2 inch over, so that's this guy right here. And then let's go ahead and do my other 1/2 inch over from the left side. So I've got my 1/2 inch and I've got my 1/2 inch. However, it says that this needs to be 3 inches over. So I'm going to measure my 3 inches over, put a dot, because this is where I'm going to end up folding, it shows. So on here it shows that I've got a solid line up until my 3-inch mark, and then this has got to be folded. So this is my 3 inches. I'm going to make that, looks like it has dash lines in the middle because that's going to be folded, and then it's got to have a straight line up until it. And then I can double check and see if I actually measured it correctly, see if that's a 1/2 inch. Again, just double checking my lines to make sure I actually did it correctly. And now the rest of this has got to be dashes because it's going to get folded. Same thing down here. And I can always double check to make sure I actually have a 1/2 inch, because maybe it might be just a little bit off.